So the topic today is accessing government-funded leadership and management training for your team in partnership with Alium Care Training. Let me go through just a couple of housekeeping things. The meeting is now recording, and following this session, we will send you a link to the recording so you can look at it again later in your own time, and so you can share it with your teams. And we'll also send you a copy of the slide deck that we will be presenting you today. If you've got any questions during the webinar, please put them into the chat thread. We will be sure to monitor them and to answer them as we go or at the end of the presentation. And also this meeting will finish at 3 p.m. today, so it's an hour. In case you would like to continue the conversation, and if you have more questions for Alium Care Training, they will open up a Zoom link that you will be able to go on to after this webinar if you want to continue the conversation with them, and Sanjita will explain a bit more, but she will be available for another hour after that to keep talking with you. Here is Sanjita that you see as well online, and her contact details. So if you wish to talk to her a bit later as well, you've got all of her contact details in here. And then I just wanted to do a very quick CareLineLive introduction. I know that some of you already use the system. Thank you for that. Some others may not. So I just wanted to do a 30-second intro about our software. So CareLineLive is an award-winning all-in-one management software for home care providers. We currently have over 700 agencies using our software. We are an NHS England DSCR assured supplier, which makes us fully compliant and reliable, proudly founded, developed and supported in the UK. We provide a digital solution to fulfill the circle of care. Basically, we have 3 portals that work together and seamlessly in the background. We have a portal for the providers, which is the management platform, a portal for the carers, which is the carer companion app, and a portal for the family and the loved ones, which is called the Care Circle portal. And they all work together in the background. One of our key focus is customer satisfaction at CareLineLive. So we want to ensure that our customers are onboarded properly and that they make our system their own system and that it works for them. So we're always here to help. Hence our rating on Trustpilot. That's really how you can go on Trustpilot and have a look at what our customers say about our system. We do regular feature updates and optimization, and they come free of charge. Our latest feature was the GP Connect integration, and then some information here about our pricing system. For those of you who are not familiar with our system, please feel free to give us a call. Our team will answer you, and they can book a free tailored demonstration for you so you can see how the system can work for your agency. So you can call this number here, or you can click on this link to book a time online. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and I will now hand over to Sanjita and to Steve from Alium Care Training.
Okay, thank you everybody. Lovely to meet you all. Steve is one of my consultants. He's going to present to you and talk you through the fully funded leadership and management program. Let me just tell you a little bit about us then. Alium Care Training are a quality assured care learning provider. We have been approved by the Department of Health and Social Care as a quality assured care learning provider, and as such we are licensed to deliver these fully funded leadership management programs, which are absolutely impactful and outcomes focused. I'm the director. Steve's one of my consultants, and he will go through what's on offer and how it works. And I've put my link in the chat box, so anybody wants to carry on afterwards, I'll leave it open for an hour afterwards, so just join in. Okay, Steve, I hand over to you.
Okay, well, thanks, Sangeeta. And obviously anyone who wants to put their camera on, please do. It helps us to get a bit more of a sense about who we're talking to and perhaps make things a little bit more interactive. So First thing, whenever we do any training, when we do any sort of presentation or webinar, we always make it interactive. That's one of the things that we get so much very positive feedback about. So if anyone wants to just perhaps share with us, or perhaps put in the chat box, anything you'd like to tell the group about a band or artist that always gets you singing or dancing. I'm not going to repeat what mine is because I was brought up in the era of British punk rock and new wave. But I wanted to do that just to set the tone, because as you'll see when you look at some of the feedback about our training, that the amount of interaction that we build into it is part of the really positive feedback that we get.
Bob Marley. There we go, Steve.
Sorry?
Adam says Bob Marley.
Okay, sing if you want to.
Oh, well done, Adam. Thank you. Oh, Dancing Queen, ABBA. Wow, fantastic.
Bob Marley. I think Bob Marley was the last song on the radio before I turned it off to do this. So it may be somebody who's listening to the same radio station as me. But look, at Alium, we were a Skills for Care Centre of Excellence, which we were very proud of. And as a lot of you will be aware, that has now been replaced by the Quality Assured Care Learning, which is a government scheme to make sure that any accredited training provider, and eventually every training provider will have to have this accreditation if they're going to be a training provider, so to give you a reassurance that they have been through a pretty rigorous process to reassure you about the quality of the training that you will receive from them in terms of the content and the delivery. And we are, because of the close working relationship that we have with Skills for Care, we were the first organisation to be given the Quality Assured Care Learning tick, so we are pretty proud of that. And so moving forward, our advice to everybody is make sure your training provider or providers have that tick or are working towards it. And a few little things about the way that we do things. And this will come through a lot when I share with you some of the kind of testimonials and feedback about our training and consultancy. We are called Alium Care Training because our roots are in being a training company, but we've evolved to do so much more than that. We now work in partnership with a number of social care providers around the UK. And what we do through training and consultancy, we help you to build confident teams, to strengthen compliance, whether that's with CQC or local authorities under PAMS inspections, preparing you for success every day and during inspections. And that, what we mean by that last point is that we all want to be outstanding when we have a CQC inspection and get that recognised and get the credit for it. But also we want to be outstanding every day. That's the services we want to run. That's what we want people using our services to experience. That's the kind of service our staff want to work in. That's what's going to make you an employer of choice. So one of our mottos, be outstanding every day. And those organisations where we have this strategic partnership, we deliver training, right? Training that has an impact, that really makes a difference. So that ultimately the quality of care improves. We build teams and we build confident leadership. We help leaders become more confident in their role. And that term confidence will come up again and again today. It's so important. So just an oversight of what we do before we get into a couple of things in more detail. Fully funded leadership I'll come on to, business support, bespoke consultancy. A lot of that is about helping with compliance, being outstanding, helping organisations to grow, business planning. Increasingly, we do a lot of work with organisations about recruitment strategies, given some of the current challenges. We've expanded into children's services. We do train the trainer, care and support, and we do offer e-learning, normally as a part of a package of care. But today we're going to focus on the Skills for Care fully funded leadership programs. And just to stress, they are fully funded as in they are free to you as the provider. Now, there is a process that you need to go through to apply for the funding and get reimbursed, and we can support you through that process, though it is relatively simple. And the other thing we would stress is that pot of money is not infinite. It will run out, and the deadline for using it anyway is the end of March next year. So act sooner rather than later. Don't miss out is the message there. And obviously, we want to keep in contact with all of you after today. So the PowerPoint will be sent round to you as a PDF. That's got our contact details in it. But what I suggest to everybody is put your name and contact details in the chat box before we finish today. And we'll keep we can keep in touch with you that way as well. And Sangeeta's,
can I just put something in there, because people are very mindful to share with providers their details. We are not looking to bombard you with lots of marketing material. That's not what we're trying to do. Put your details down if any of this is of interest to you, so we can connect with you as much or as less as you'd like. We're not going to bombard you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so just a little diagram of the way you can find the message box if you're not familiar with using Microsoft Teams for webinars. So how we run and offer the programs, the Skills for Care leadership programs, what makes us different, sets us apart? What is it that we do that means we constantly get such positive feedback? We run the open courses. Benefit there is that you will be in groups with people from different social care providers around the country, different types of providers, so you learn from each other. The other option is that we create courses that are tailored to your organisation's needs. Obviously, the big advantage there is specifically tailored to what your needs and what you want you and your staff to get out of it. We do face-to-face training, we do virtual training, we do a mixture of both, and we all come with their positives and their challenges. We've certainly found ways of resolving some of the challenges that we initially found with things like virtual training. Most of the courses we run over 3 short days. That can vary depending on the group size, and if we're doing tailored courses, exactly what it is that you want your staff to get out of the training. We put a lot of focus on interaction in the training. Now, today is very much about just giving you information, but when people come to us for a training course, it's going to run over about 5-6 hours. It's so important that there's a lot of interaction there for them. A lot of emphasis on translating learning into capability. And the key message there is that when you go on a training course, when you leave at the end of the day, that's not the end of the learning journey. That's just the start, the end of the beginning. Training gives us knowledge, facts, information, know-how, best practice. Right? What we have to do after the training is turn that into capability, things that we can do, skills, abilities, or changes in how your team or your service operates. And to do that, you need a plan about how that's going to happen over the weeks and months after the training. Because you may leave training passionately believing that you've learned about something and you want to be really good at it. But you won't be good the next day. I mean, we're rarely good at something the first time we try and do it. We have to have a plan about developing our abilities. And the example we often use there is learning to drive. When you learn, the first thing we do when we learn to drive is we learn the highway code. But no matter how well we know the highway code, we can't drive. We just have to get in a car, learn from experience. We're often not good to begin with. We're not confident. We're probably not even safe. We become good drivers because we stick with it and we learn from experience over weeks and months. So it's very important. It's pretty much mandatory in our training that everybody you send on one of our courses will be guided through and will leave with an action plan to turn learning into capability with support once they're back in the workplace. And training very much about outcomes and impact. What's it going to achieve for people? So I'm sure some of you have actually completed the Skills for Care Leaders Succeed program. It is the first of the suite of programs that is suitable for most people to do. And just to give you an overview about the content and therefore what you or your staff would get out of it, it covers successful behaviours for leaders and managers. When we go to services that are very successful, services rated as outstanding, what is it we see people there consistently doing, particularly leaders and managers at every level? Register managers, deputies, team leaders, right? And how do we give you those skills and abilities? It's about developing a positive culture, a respectful culture, a caring culture. There's a number of strands to that. It's about how to become an even more effective supervisor. And for a lot of people with in their journey to being a manager, if they are relatively new to a position where they're supervising other staff, we often find that becoming an effective supervisor is one of the top 3 areas that they want to work on. How to lead and manage the process of change. I'm sure a lot of you know, if you ask most people, do you like change? They say no. Right? However, we live in a changing world. if you are running your care service today the same way you were 5 years ago, it would be out of date. You can be running a care service today that's outstanding. But if we just carry on doing it in the same way, come back in a couple of years and it may not be outstanding anymore. So what we have to be good at is changing things in a way that is different to what people have experienced previously. So when we ask your staff, do you like change? They might say, well, no, but I don't mind the way my manager does it at work. And that is going to be an even more important skill in the future. And what's termed leading and managing the inspection process? When you have an inspection, CQC, a local authority PAMS inspection, how do you make sure that they see and hear and experience the evidence of everything you want them to, everything you're proud of, everything that's going to give you the rating that you know you deserve? And inevitably, we can say this with all our training, a strong focus on outcomes. At the end of it, you will have a plan about how you will be able to do what you want to do. So, some feedback about where we've delivered this already. Somebody told us, genuinely shaped who I am as a leader. Another bit of feedback. Superb trainees who really know how to engage. Sessions are interactive and practical. You're never bored, and there's always something valuable to take away. Each course helped me focus on what I can control, built my confidence, that word again, showed me how to lead with purpose and gave me clarity and inspiration. And we're particularly proud of that somebody left our training feeling inspired. Next Skills for Care leadership program, well led, as I'm sure a lot of you know. Skills for Care, 5 key questions. One of them's well led, probably the most important one. So there's no surprises what this course focuses in on. How to be well led as defined and measured by CQC. So, unsurprisingly, a lot of focus on how to have a really clear understanding about what well-led looks like in a care setting. We can read the well-led quality statements. We can read the CQC definition of what well-led is, but how do we make that a reality in a care setting? And to do that, obviously, we have to have a good understanding about leadership strategies and techniques to transform services and improve the quality of care. And those of you who are familiar with how CQC define well-led will clearly recognise that that's pretty much the first sentence of their definition. Quality assurance, quality improvement, learning culture. Develop the confidence, that word again, and skills to lead services in a complex and challenging context. I think for all of you, as registered managers, whatever your role is, your job has never been so challenging, and that is recognised in this course. And making sure we leave with goals to improve our leadership effectiveness. So, some feedback about that course. Trainers are fantastic, bespoke in the content to ensure understanding and tailoring to the needs of each role. And that was from a course where we had people from an organisation, from team leaders all the way up to registered managers. I've seen an immense change in how our team works. I can't recommend Alium enough to anybody looking to develop the skills, knowledge and behaviours of their team. It's not just about learning, it's about embedding a culture into the workplace, making a real difference. There is also a programme, Leading Change, Improving Care, which we generally run over 3 days. It's quite a specialised course. So we'll also be having a conversation with you beforehand about exactly what motivating you to go on the course and what you want you or your staff to get out of it. And this one focuses very, very strongly on leading and managing the process of change. How to bring about a change in a way where afterwards, not just people have changed, but they say, you know what, I kind of like how you do change. So that's about bringing about change sensitively, how to build resilience for change so that you have staff teams that are more open to change in the future, and the skills and behaviours we need to do that. And no matter how good we are at managing and leading change, I think it is sometimes inevitable that we have people in our teams who still seem to be very unwilling to engage with the change process or resistant to it. So we've specifically looked about how we understand what's going on for them and use that to help them to change in the way that we need to, in a way that works for them as well. Coaching, building on coaching skills from the first couple of courses, and coaching in is a very, very effective way of helping people to change. And building on stuff from the earlier course about personal effectiveness, particularly time management. And again, some of the feedback that we've had about our courses has been a bit more generally, not just about Lead to Succeed. The trainer was fantastic, a good knowledge of the subject matter, and the pace of delivery was great. It was engaging. I learned a whole lot. Another one, I came away with great ideas which I'll put into practice. Again, somebody talking about their action plan to turn knowledge into capability. I really enjoyed the group chats and group exercises, and it's given me a more positive outlook on things. There's also a one-day course, Continuing Professional Development, which is designed as a refresher, but actually can be a good introduction to some of these topics for staff. It's 3 modules, so we can break it down into smaller courses. One's understanding performance management cycle, i.e. how to get the best out of our staff. People who are really well motivated and performing, keeping them motivated. Staff where there is actually a need for formal performance management, getting positive outcomes from that, touching on how disciplinary and grievance processes may fit into that. Strategies to improve performance for people at every level, from struggling to doing really well. Making sure that we know how to retain our really high performing staff. Retention is so important now. And this is, I think, the biggest area that staff who are new to roles where they're managing other people tell us that they want to work on. How to have difficult conversations that are a necessary part of any job effectively. As in, we get the outcome we want, and it actually feels like a good experience to the people involved. And culture. Creating cultures that, again, breed confidence in our staff, encourage people to take responsibility. And a couple of other quotes. One was about how we did training for an organisation and it rippled out across the whole team. Again, confidence improved, communication, problem solving, people using their initiative. And part of that, we were told that the trainers were knowledgeable, helpful and proactive, ensuring everyone on the course stayed engaged with the content. I would stress everybody. And by partnering with us, because the training was part of the package of support we did with them, some consultancy services as well, the owner of that care home told us that they are very confident that they're well on the way up the journey to be recognised as being outstanding. A little bit about virtual training, and to cast our minds back to lockdown and COVID, and suddenly we started doing an awful lot of things virtually. So I think we've learned from experience, a lot of us. A bit of feedback from somebody who we won over. I didn't believe virtual training could be as good as face-to-face. Alium Trainers changed my mind. This has been as effective as in-person courses. The virtual sessions included breakout rooms where people could exchange ideas with others in the sector. We found the interactive approach to be invaluable, giving the team real-world insights and practical solutions. And again, there's a bit more feedback about some of our courses generally. Lead to Succeed was a pivotal experience with our participants. It equipped them with essential leadership skills, including solution-based thinking, reflective practice, and the ability to set themselves smart goals and to achieve those goals. A bit more feedback that we had from the owner of this organisation. These skills are exceptional to contribute significantly to their ability to drive Woodley towards long-term success. And that was, for this organisation, meant significant growth without compromising on quality. Bit more feedback. We created realistic and interactive learning environments, including opportunities for people to practice what they had learned, share feedback with peers and reflect on the responsibilities and values. Reflection, getting people to reflect in training and building the skill of being a reflective practitioner. Another bit that we're quite proud of, our realistic and humble approach was refreshing for the participants. The trainer's ability to connect with people on a personal level, created a comfortable, open learning environment. So, one of the things I said earlier, I talked about the pot of funding that is available, and that there is a process that you need to go through, and we can guide you through to access that funding. As we're doing quite well for time, Sangeeta, did you want to say a bit more about this?
Yeah, is that okay?
Of course.
Okay, let's go. So let's just quickly recap. There are 4 programs that are fully funded, 100% funded. Okay, we've been delivering these for the last 8 years now. Okay, and not one person who's accessed the courses have failed to access their funding. We will hold your hand, make sure you get funding. We always make sure that you are eligible before you book in anything. So we help you with all of that process. There's lots of information on our website. Plus, I often do one-to-one calls with people to make sure that all the paperwork is up to date and what needs doing. We will help you with all of that. The funding for these programs is limited. Okay. So we need to access it before it runs out. The thing is, if we don't use this funding, okay, now don't quote me, but it's government funded. Yeah. So then they'll give it to someone else, because they'll say, well, we gave it to you, health and social care, didn't use it, so you don't obviously need it. So that's why we're encouraging everybody to say, come on, let's use this funding to give you what you want. Let's modify the courses to give you what you want, but without losing the ethos of these courses. The deadline for closing this pot of funding is middle of March 2026. Now, seems a long time away, but it will go away so quick, given that we've got Christmas and then New Year and all that kind of stuff. So please do think about how to accessing these, and talk to us to how we can help you to access this funding, to access these programs. Don't worry about the dates that are on the website. Come to us and we will work out dates that work for you. Okay. Some courses, if we deliver them in small groups so that we can keep it really personal and deliver person-centered training on an individual basis within the small group. I would say that if you've not done any of these courses, specifically if you've not looked at these courses at all, the Lead to Succeed is the absolutely basic and fantastic one to do. It really, really opens doors. We've had people who've not done the Lead to Succeed because they're regional managers or indeed registered managers, and say, well, we don't need that. I need the well-led program, which is fine, absolutely fine. Do access it. But we found that there are some gaps in there from the Lead to Succeed program. That's what I'm told by my team. So as it's funded, why not do both of them? Yeah. So anyway, have a think. I'm going to put my link in this in my Zoom invite in the chat box, and I'll keep it open for an hour after our session. So anybody who wants to jump in, we're always here to help. Yeah. It's about supporting the sector and working collaboratively to make sure that we all work together to deliver the best possible care to those most vulnerable in our society. Okay. Somebody just put a chat in the chat. Does it apply to Scotland? I am so sorry. This is England only. England only. However, I am in talks with people within Scotland that we would deliver this on a minimal charge. Okay. We can't do it at no charge at all, because I've got to pay my trainers and my consultants. So I need to be fair. But we'll do it. We'll do it at a minimum charge. Don't shoot the messenger. It's just the government policy, the way it is. It's just open to England at the moment. Any questions, anybody? I've not seen anything else in the chat, so I'm assuming everybody's okay or understanding. Anything at all, just put in the chat, please, because we're more than happy to help you guys. Yeah. Okay, Steve, do you want to carry on?
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
I'm just going to talk to you about contact details you were saying, Sangeeta. A little bit about some of the consultancy services that we also offer. So About CQC inspections and PAMS inspections. Some of you have experienced them already. That has been rolled out across England, the local authority version of a CQC inspection, really. And we talk about compliance, i.e. meeting a minimal legal standard, right, which generally equates to good as a rating, and that being the foundation for them being outstanding. Again, we like to rely on feedback and testimonials rather than just telling what we think. So this is from an organisation we did some work with a couple of years ago now. Had they had any CQC inspection? Obviously, the ratings were not good at all. Part of that, they found that there were widespread and significant shortfalls in service leadership. So we did some leadership training with them, but also some consultancy work about coaching leaders and policy development and quality assurance. They were inspected by CQC not long afterwards because they were under a lot of scrutiny. And part of the CQC report then stated that the management team have completed extensive training to begin implementing new values into the service, and the general morale in staffing teams had improved. Some feedback we had from the owner of the organisation a bit further on down the process of working together. I can honestly say that without the commitment and support given by Alium, we would not be on the pathway to improvement. Now, if you are wanting to find out a little bit more about that, we were asked to write a blog by Skills for Care, which is on their website. It's still up on the website. So and I am just going to get the PowerPoint up again. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I just want to check with everybody. Can everyone still see the PowerPoint again now?
Yes, all okay. I can see it, Steve.
Oh, okay, just wanted to check there because there was a slight blip there. Okay. So, and we have put the link to the Skills for Care blog in the PDF of this that will get sent around to you if you want to read more about that piece of work. So, just some examples about the way that we ensure that we make training interactive. So this is an exercise taken from one of the programs where we might put people into groups. This is from Lead to Succeed. So the final module is about preparing for and managing the inspection process. And start off by getting them to share some of their top tips, because any learning needs to build on what people already know. And some very common ones that come up: be outstanding every day, obviously, and then it doesn't matter when CQC inspect because you're outstanding. Don't see gathering evidence as something additional you have to do. It is an important part of our job. Build it into our everyday working practices, particularly outcomes and the impact of the outcomes for people. Embrace the CQC quality statements, particularly well led. Don't see them as something we tack on to what we do. Build them into what we do. Make them standards that we work to. We set standards that we work to and expect from our staff in a whole load of different ways. Policies, procedures, care plans, they all tell our staff what to do and the standard that we want to do it to as well. All right. Write those for the audience, mainly that's support workers. Another big one, when we are planning and preparing for an inspection, systems and processes are really important. What's more important is preparing people. Get our staff feeling confident to talk about what they do and what they're good at, what they're proud of. Be organised, project confidence, and work in partnership with inspectors. The easier we make their job for them, the better it's going to go for you as an inspection. They come to your service wanting to find evidence that you are good at what you do in relation to the quality statements. And when they find evidence of good, they want to find evidence that you're outstanding. Make it easy for them to do that. Putting people's experiences at the heart of what we do. And quality assurance. Those of you are familiar with how CQC define what well-led is, will know that the first sentence of that definition pretty much says quality assurance, quality improvement frameworks. If we've got our own quality assurance working really well, That tells us how well our services are performing. That means we know what CQC will find in an inspection before they do. When they come, no surprises. And as we all know, CQC have not been inspecting services with the frequency that they are contractually obliged to. And the inspections haven't had the sort of depth or scope that need to. That's been reflected in the DASH report. CQC are not contesting any of that. But where that leaves you as a care provider is that in the past, and hopefully again in the near future, you get regular, very thorough, free, comprehensive quality assurance checks done by CQC as the regulator. Right. If you're not getting that, part of your quality assurance system is missing. So that makes your own internal quality assurance even more important. A lot of our clients, I think that's why increasingly they are coming to us to do mock CQC inspections for them to fill that gap. We've got some more articles about that on our website if that's something you want to learn even more about. And again, just another example of some of the content of our training, challenging conversations. Spoken already about how this is one of the most common training needs people come to us with when they are early on in their journey to being a manager, particularly if somebody has just progressed from being a support worker to, say, a team leader or a deputy manager. So we don't just give people information, we use scenarios. We build scenarios into the training within the context of important confidentiality. We're happy to work a little bit with scenarios and experiences that people bring from their own practice. And what we do, start off with some fairly nice, relatively simple ones. Get people to think about what would you do in this situation? When would you meet with the person? What do you want the outcome to be? How you'd structure the conversation to get the outcome that you want and make it a positive experience for everybody involved. And what skills do you need to do that? And then we work through bringing in some more complex and challenging scenarios. So this one is about a team leader who's completed probation, lots of experience, but with a different organisation. During some of your own quality assurance, like a monitoring phone call, you get feedback that something happened that you certainly want to find out more about. What would you do in that situation? And then moving on to even more potentially challenging and complex scenarios. So, as we think about winding up, stress again, please put your name and contact details into the chat box. It helps us to be proactive in keeping in contact with you. I can't stress enough, we don't bombard you with marketing emails or pass your details on to anybody else. We just want to make sure that we keep in contact after the day, whether it's just getting you on some of our, keeping you updated about where we're sharing information on our website about articles and updates that can be really helpful for you, and also about whether or not you want to tap into the Skills for Care leadership programs or any of our consultancy services. So, and if your preferred way of keeping in contact is to, I guess it's called zapping a QR code. There's now a QR code on the screen that you can zap and we'll take you to our website. But Sangeeta, any more you want to say about that?
Yes, I mean, zap the QR code. I know we've kind of finished a little bit earlier, but I can happy to discuss anything you want with the programs, about the programs, how to access them. I know I've got somebody saying that do we charge for helping you to access the courses and the paperwork and everything else to access the funding? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We spend time making sure that all the eligibility stuff happens and we work together to make sure that we get to a position that you're compliant to access the funding, and we will then help you to access it properly and send you a guidance on how to do that. Absolutely no problem at all. We're always on the ball with people. We don't our way of doing things is working as strategic partners with your organizations, never ever just to give you something and run away. That's not how we want to operate. We don't want to do a sheep dip. We totally want to make sure we do things properly for you, and we help you outcomes focused and impactful learning with clear action plans and clear application of learning, and making sure that you can see the difference. Yeah. So that's, anybody want to stay back and ask for any other support? What would you like from us? What would you like to hear from us? Anything else that you'd like to hear? Is anybody putting in the chat box, or even perhaps unmute yourselves and talk to us? We were hoping to talk to some of you, so I think that's probably why Steve's got lots of scenarios and things, because we never ever just go and deliver and go away. We kind of like to do a bit of interaction, so we get to know you, you get to know us. Anybody interested in doing that? No? That's a shame. Anybody
It's been a very clear presentation.
Yeah, maybe it's just a clear presentation. We do these quite a lot. Is anybody within the Surrey area? Anybody coming in from the Surrey area? Anybody? Okay, Adam, if you want to, Red Hill. Okay, with Surrey, we are preferred provider for Surrey County Councils. Apologies for the other councils. We do try and do what we can. So Surrey County Council, we're preferred provider. As part of that, we have a very small pot of funding that we can access from them to carry out a mock inspection. Yeah. Or some bespoke training or something to support you with. So we do a lot of mock inspections for them. So if you're looking for that sort of input from us, please get in touch, Adam, because we will happily share the details with you about that. You get a detailed report, you get recommendations, action plan, and you also get a bit of coaching. And Steve is one of the consultants who actually does that. Yeah. So do get in touch. The pot is kind of small, so running out fairly soon. So be quick if you want it. Okay. Anybody else who's outside of the Surrey area? Apologies. We are working with other councils to see if they will release some pots to allow our support to be spread out a little bit more, but it's becoming hard, really hard. So we do then have a self-funded offer on the mock inspections. We try and keep it as low, as small as we can. We really do, because for us, as director of Alium, it's not about the money. It's not about grabbing our money and running away. It's about making sure that it's fair to you as a provider, and it's fair to my consultants, who are very, very knowledgeable. And at the end of the day, we make an impact to your service delivery, and I'm guessing to your bottom line. Yeah, that's how we work. If you get to know us, you'll see that that's what we do. Yes, I know, Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, Gloucestershire, we are trying. We are desperately trying, but it's just trying to get them to release a pot of money. They all work in different ways. So yeah, watch this space. I'll do my best to try and encourage them to release a bit of funding. But do come in, get in touch, because if you're self-funding, you know, we see what we can do and work with you. If you're buying some of the fully funded programs, then I can talk to finance and see what we can do for the mock inspections for you and work some sort of package for you. Yeah, always ask. I always say, always ask. Yeah. Is anything else, Steve, you'd like to say?
No, nothing from me. Just can't stress enough. I mean, I've only touched on the range of what we do. Our websites cover it all.
Just a range.
If it's not there, just ring us, email us.
Always email us. Steve's background was working as a regional manager for an organisation who wanted to reach the outstanding CQC rating. I mean, not everybody does, but that organisation did. Steve guided them to 5 outstanding,
Yes.
5 outstandings, yeah, across the 5 key lines of inquiries, yeah, which we're very proud of. So he does know his stuff, yeah. Okay, any questions? Anything else anybody wants? Let me just put down the my link. So if anybody wants to kind of jump on, I'll leave it open for till about 4 o'clock. Anybody wants to jump on, I'll work in the background, leave it on, and if somebody jumps on, then I'm happy to talk to them. We're happy to talk to them about how they can access the funding and get what they want. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Natalie?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you very
Steve?
much, Sangeeta and
Thanks.
Steve.
Thanks,
I'm just
everybody.
going to share my screen once more just to finalize the presentation for today.
Thank you.
So let me do this. So just wanted to let you all know about our upcoming CareLineLive webinar at the end of October, which this time is about how to gain press and publicity for your home care business with Full Story Media. So you've got a link here if you're interested. A little QR code here to download our latest ebook on growing your home care business with confidence. A few links to connect with CareLineLive on socials, on our website, and again to book a demo. But thank you so much to Alium Care Training for being with us today and taking the time to talk to everyone.
Okay.
And do get in touch with Sangeeta and Steve should you need to, and if you want to have more information on that link. But thank you very much to everyone for attending today.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time. Okay.